All right. Cheers,
All right.
guys.
Cheers.
Release the Kraken.
That's
Coors
John's
Light.
favorite. John's favorite hockey team.
Oh, yeah. Not CBJ.
Hey, guys. Welcome to the Movie Podium, a weekly podcast where we collectively choose a film to watch, and then at the end of the week, we get together and talk about that film. It's kind of like a book club, but for movies. We also came up with a set of questions to ask ourselves as we watch the film, such as, is this a Podium movie or a top 3 in the year of its respective release? I'm your host, Matt Scott, and I'm here with my dudes, Eric.
Hello.
Daniel.
Heyo.
And hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello,
And
John.
without further ado, we present our next movie.
Been practicing this speech, I
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed
That was
it.
good. I liked it.
Ocean's 11.
So we've got Ocean's 11.
Woo!
The year 2001 is a pretty important year for movies, but not because of the top tier one-off films in prior years that we've covered like in 94 or 97. Instead, 2001 is one of the most significant years in film history, more so for its role in initiating movie franchises. These franchises include Harry Potter, which we just watched, Fast and the Furious, Monsters, Inc., Shrek, Lord of the Rings, and our featured film, Ocean's 11, all in 2001.
Wasn't Iron Man in 2001?
No, 2008.
Oh,
2008.
yep. I'm wrong. Sorry.
That's right.
It's only 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting
Basically
there.
same thing.
Right
Yeah.
there.
And while we have done some franchise movies so far on our timeline journey, if you look at 2001 alone, fast forward 22 years later, and between those franchises that I just mentioned, we've seen a lot of those films, right, combined. Clearly, we are in a franchise mindset with blockbuster era today, and really it's hard to argue against 2001 for being that catalyst. John, do you think you are more of a franchise guy, like relate more to our movies like Jurassic Park and Harry Potter's? Or are you more of a one-off Best Picture type like Seven and Good Will Hunting?
I have a short attention span, so I feel like I need to have things wrapped up in one movie. But a lot of my favorite movies are franchises. Jurassic Park
Yeah.
is probably on my personal podium. Turned into a franchise, but the Jurassic Park on my podium is not the franchise Jurassic Park. Batman is a huge franchise for me. So I wish I could give a straight answer. But on the other hand, you said anything. I think there might have been a franchise wave that swept everything up, maybe starting with this.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
So,
That was a good question.
yeah, thanks.
I want to hear from Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
I think I know
are
the
you,
answer.
Yeah, are you more of a franchise or a one-off film type guy?
I'm a franchise boy.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, line them up, give them to me. Once I find, Marvel too. But once
Yeah.
I find something I like if they keep making it, I'm probably going to keep watching it, even if it sucks.
You're
gonna
so right
guzzle
with
it all
Star
up.
Wars, though. Star Wars has me no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, before we get into the questions themselves, I like to begin each show with a few random ass facts that I found during some research. This has a rating of 7.7 on IMDb.
Okay. That seems about right.
Yeah, I thought that was fair.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd go a little bit higher, but it doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything, but it's a solid movie.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, I wondered if you guys knew. I assume probably. Ocean's 11 was a remake from the 1960 film of the same name, starring the Rat Pack, including Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that it starred the Rat Pack, but I knew it was an old movie or an old thing.
1960.
Yeah,
was the
1960.
release.
Yep.
Dang.
So, a couple casting what ifs that I found. Matt Damon's part as Linus Caldwell was actually meant for Mark Wahlberg,
Really?
who turned down the role in order to star in Planet of the Apes.
Oof.
Right?
Heck yeah. Made the right
maybe
decision.
Less well executed remake.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Good point. Another one was Bruce Willis was originally cast as Danny Ocean, but had to pull out during scheduling conflicts.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I
It's
can
like-
see it.
Yeah, George
I feel like-
Clooney's like suaveness kind of sells
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would prefer Clooney still, but I can still see it.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Willis has that, like, intimidation more so than the suaveness, so I could see that.
Or confidence, too.
Yeah, there is something there, but I'm glad that Clooney got his role here.
Yeah.
We have the lead cast members lived at the Bellagio during the time of filming, each in separate 7,000 square foot villas. George Clooney had a keg of Guinness installed in his dressing room. I thought that was pretty funny. So
that might be a clue to a later question.
So yeah, right. So I got two more. We got the first time George Clooney and Julia Roberts actually met was on this set.
Really?
Neat. Wow.
Hard, yeah, which is hard
Yeah.
to believe considering how great their chemistry was, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And also, just like those two people were like mega famous. You think they'd
Yeah.
Yeah.
not maybe work together, but you'd think they'd have crossed paths at
Mhm.
awards shows or
Yeah.
fancy
Top
galas and stuff.
professionals in their industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously from there they made a couple more Ocean's movies along with a few other movies such as Ticket to Paradise, which just came out on Amazon about a year ago or maybe less, and Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. So they've done movies since, and this might have just kicked that idea off to some of these directors casting people, right? So
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And
Yeah, that's interesting as well.
yeah, and so
Matt's killing it with these facts.
trying my
Spitting
best.
facts, baby.
Smack it, baby. Last one we've got was actually during our half-ass research before this podcast. So when looking up Don Cheadle on IMDb for his credit in this movie, he's actually nowhere to be found on the credits. Turns out he wanted an above-title billing alongside of Clooney, Damon, and Pitt. When he was denied, he said, "You know what? I don't want to be credited at all."
Yeah. Cheese.
Yeah. I was
Right?
trying to find I thought I was going crazy. I was looking
Yeah.
at the Google how they show the faces, and I was like, Don Cheadle is not here.
Yeah.
So
one
then we
of-
went to IMDb, and he was in the uncredited section,
It's wild.
which,
Yeah.
which is just weird.
One of the lines on my podium is from Cheeds himself.
Oh, nice.
Jeez.
We'll get to that. I don't
Nice.
know why I'm calling him Cheeds.
Yep. I don't know.
Just me.
I like it.
We're just gonna
Since he's
roll with it.
uncredited, I just had to make up my own name.
We're going with it. All right. So before we get into the questions, we'd like to ask you to take a gamble on us and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like
Heyo.
this video. You can also catch us
That
on
was a nice
YouTube every Tuesday and your favorite podcast platform.
Thank you to everyone who listens and subscribes.
Keep
Thank
it
you.
up. Keep it up.
That's for Dave, who could
Yeah.
not be here today.
I hope he subscribes.
I'm gonna drink the missing Dave.
Pour one out for Dave. In my mouth.
In my mouth. So we're switching up the format slightly. We're going to keep the same set of questions, but we've kind of arranged it a little bit just to emphasize the gimmick of the podcast, the movie podium. And so we're going to have the movie podium questions at the end. Hope you guys enjoy. So first question we've got, favorite thing about the movie? So I'm going to bounce this to Eric. What was your favorite thing about the movie?
I had a couple, but as I watched the movie, Brad Pitt is always eating something. And I don't know why, but I thought that was funny. And so that is my answer. Brad Pitt always eating something.
That's awesome. John?
My favorite part is the last second rescript of the job when they realize that Clooney is compromised.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, all this planning went into it. And at the last second, they're like, oh, he might really fuck us up. And that's when Matt Damon gets to shine.
Linus.
Linus. Left his security blanket at home. Son of, who is it? Bobby or something?
Yeah, Bobby from Chicago.
Get him a house.
Daniel, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite
part.
My favorite thing about this movie is it just seemed like the cast was having a blast together.
Yeah.
Like it's this star-studded super cast, and it seemed like they were all just chewing up the scenery and having a great time.
Yeah, and from what I read, that is the actual truth. I mean, they were saying like some of the lines that they were trying to give was difficult because they were all laughing so hard. Like, everybody was so funny, and they were trying to not laugh when they were delivering lines, and so apparently there's a lot of enjoyment being around each other.
I'd like to see the blooper reel.
Yeah,
I don't know if there is one, but
I'm sure there is. We might have to get on that.
They wasted a lot of film.
Was this shot on film or digital?
Yeah, probably not film.
Yeah, probably film. So my favorite scene, or my favorite part of this movie, is the final scene when all the crooks that have that satisfied realization that they had just pulled off one of the biggest heists in history. Like, just the sheer look on their face, just the epitome of satisfied.
Yeah, when they're all watching the fountains go up. Yeah.
And I read afterwards that Matt Damon said that it was a very oddly emotional scene for the actual cast too. He said, like, afterwards they were all emotional.
Did they must have shot it at the end too, and it was the end of the movie.
So. Yeah, I would assume that's why he was saying it, but I don't know. But he said that it was an emotional scene, so
it was probably, if not like the last, part of shooting. It was probably the last part of shooting where they were all together.
Yeah,
good point.
It might have been. It might have been like they did some pickups or like some individual scenes with individual characters afterwards. But that was probably like the end of like the crew all being together.
Yeah, that you're probably right on that.
And it's such a cool scene. Like the end of it, they just all walk their separate ways, like without even saying anything.
I know.
Yeah, they go back into kind of obscurity where they were before.
For sure. Next question we've got: least favorite thing about the movie. I'm gonna bounce this, Daniel. What was your least favorite part?
I really didn't have a least favorite part. Like, this movie, it's not flawless or anything like that, but it's just like a fun heist movie. And like, I like heist movies, so that's already piqued my interest. And like, it just, like, it flows really well. It doesn't hiccup, the momentum of the movie. The momentum's always going. So, like, I didn't really have a least favorite part of this movie. If I did, it would just probably be that Terry Benedict's a butthole.
He's a pretty good one, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great at it. He's just, he's just a butthole.
Yeah, for sure.
I also agree, Daniel, that it was very dense in plot exposition. It's every second of the movie is revealing something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. John, what was your least favorite part? We'll go to you.
So during the proposal of the whole job, I wish I could remember the character. I want to say Ruben is like, so assuming we get through all these improbable things we have to get through, we're just supposed to walk out of the place. And then he's like, yeah, pretty much. And then he's like, okay. And then they proceed. And then that ends up being, the big twist of the movie. It's like, and I've also seen it enough times that I know that they need to sort of plant that seed early, but they all just go, yeah, screw it. Let's go ahead. And then, but that again is the whole point of the movie is they're all gamblers and throwing a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric?
I thought the only thing that I could come up with was like their timeline seems like impossibly just impossible because they did it in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because that's when they start at that
replica vault.
Yeah, they built a replica vault and they hatched this whole plan within 2 weeks. And that just didn't seem believable. I mean, not that anything seems believable, but that one, I was like, this is not good.
A mini point off of that is that one of my other least favorite parts was Bruiser had to stall for a long time. He had to sit there and pretend to beat up George Clooney to the point where he should have been a dead, bloody pulp. But
yeah,
I think that's part of your timeline thing where it's like, yeah, this thing might have... Well, that's sort of a different timeline, but...
Yeah,
I just sort of butted in with two answers there.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, I like it. That's... When I was watching it, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't... Like, the people outside could hear because they had a shot of, like, Bruiser making the sounds... with the guards outside, and did they not hear George Clooney be like, that was supposed to be after, and then just like roll the thing over like loudly and
oh yeah, how's your wife? Pregnant again.
Pregnant.
Right.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, so my least favorite thing is actually pretty much along those lines. Just maybe the best and the worst thing about the movie at the same time is just making all of these things that are impossible seem easy or possible. So like it's kind of my least favorite thing because of the unlikeliness, but it's also one of the best things because it just tells you it's a movie. So you're just supposed to enjoy it and accept it. So I kind of struggled with saying anything least favorite as well, but I kind of agree with you guys. Just the unlikeliness, if we're being honest, is pretty high. So that was, I guess, what I have to say.
For me, that's the making of a great heist movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Is like all these improbable things coming together to create the heist that goes well. And speaking of heist movies, I have a top 5.
Oh, nice! With the same.
Do the cross-eye.
That's my impersonation. I'm not good at going.
Take your glasses off. Take your glasses off and do it.
That's
there you go. Yes,
That's a good
yes, that's a good one. That's the one we're using.
So, my top 5 heist movies, in ascending order, are Ant-Man,
That's number 5?
Oh.
That's number 5. Number 5 is Ant-Man. Number 4 is The Usual Suspects.
Oh, that's good. I like it.
Number 3 is Inception.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that it's a heist movie.
Yeah.
Me too.
And number 2 is one of my personal favorite movies of all time, starring Matt's favorite actor. It is National Treasure.
Yeah.
That 2 sounds low to me, to be honest.
And my number 1 heist movie is Heat.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I just watched
Great
Heat
top
for the
5.
first time.
Oh, did you really? Oh, Heat
Yeah.
rules. Heat's
I
one
thought
of my
you-
favorites.
It's
It was
intense.
gonna... Number 3 is National Treasure 3. Number 2 is National Treasure 2. And number 1 is National Treasure.
Talk about a franchise.
It is a great franchise.
Yeah.
I love me. You miss history and heists? I'm in, baby.
Heistery.
All day.
Daniel, did you hear that?
Heistery?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Eric.
Thank you.
I like that.
We've got to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
We should try to do that.
Try and steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt
That's all.
says as he's about to fall asleep.
All right. Next category, we've got favorite song moment or score scene. I'm going to go first on this one. My
Do it.
favorite song moment was when the number 1 guy who almost robbed the bank, or not the bank, the casino, is running out and gets shot, and Take My Breath Away is playing.
Yeah.
They conquered.
That's
I had-
that's
Yeah.
that.
I had the same thing.
Yeah. There's not a ton, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot of ton. There's not a lot to choose from, but that scene rules.
Yeah. And all the money goes flying.
Oh, are you talking about their podium moment where they talk about the top 3 successful
Like
Yeah.
closest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is their podium.
Yeah, they have
Oh,
the podium
yeah.
in the movie, and it's Ruben saying,
Yes.
here's the 3 closest or most
Yeah.
successful. They're not successful.
Right. Yes, exactly. That's my
I
favorite.
totally missed the song during that one, though, but I was marking out over that they're doing a podium.
That is awesome. I didn't even think of that. I just heard "Take My Breath Away" by Berlin.
Yeah.
Great song, though.
Yeah, it is. So Eric, you had the same.
I had the same exact thing.
It's hilarious. John, did you have a favorite song moment?
Well, we talked about it. We talked about before. I like the song during that final scene at the fountains. It's Claire de Lune. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
I think so.
Classical song. I have others, but I'll cede my time.
Daniel?
For me, it wasn't one particular moment. It was just that the whole score felt old Hollywood
Yeah.
and fit the heist movie, the bringing together all the biggest stars in the world all together. Like, it just felt like an old Hollywood sort of score, and
Yep.
it fit the movie really well because it's an old Hollywood type of movie.
Yeah, and so that's Steven Soderbergh's kind of touch. That he's the director of this, obviously, and so he kind of has a lot to say on that, and you get his feel on that, especially with his touch on the music, or his influence on that. So yeah, I totally agree with that. John, what were the other ones you had?
I think twice they played Elvis, a little
Yeah.
less conversation. So
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
definitely painting the Vegas picture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I thought the main theme of the movie, I think it was just sort of like filler music. It was like low key, like loungy jazz, like do 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 do. Ooh, we're sneaking around and stealing stuff. Yeah, but the overall vibe was just right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's funny you talk about the Elvis. Obviously, you're right. It's a little less conversation. When they were trying to think of songs to play during this, they decided not to go with Viva Las Vegas because of how overplayed it was, and they were kind of sick of that song, so they went with a different route.
Yeah. In addition to the music making it feel like old Hollywood, the camera work and like cinematography did really well too.
Yeah.
Because they used like zooms and like different transitions and everything that you don't really see anymore.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Another Soderbergh touch there.
A lot of in-camera work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So next we've got Who Won the Movie? So I think this one might be, won't say unanimous, but I have a feeling more than one of us will say the same thing. Daniel, you want to go first?
Danny Ocean wins the movie. Danny Ocean plans the heist to get his woman back. He walks away with like 11 point something $million.
Yeah, somewhere in the teens.
Yeah, spends 3 to 6 months in jail. We don't know how long. It just says 3 to 6 months. And comes out, and his girl's waiting on him with his buddy Rusty.
Yeah,
his buddy Rusty.
Pretty solid win.
Munching on a cheeseburger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I also said George Clooney or Danny Ocean. I actually kind of sided more with George Clooney because I think we'll touch more on this when we get to the podium roles, but he's on fire right now in cinema. And I mean, he's really on his A game in this one. It's his effortless charm, his cool under pressure, he's smart, smooth, all in his best roles. And this is probably maybe it, right? So we'll touch on this later, but he's at the top here, I think, in terms of his acting, and he really shines in this movie because, again, he's with guys that are maybe bigger actors from a pedigree standpoint, in Brad Pitt and Matt Damon, and he kind of outshines both. So kudos to him. Eric?
I said that the twins, was it the Malloy twins?
Yeah.
They won the movie because without them, everyone was fucked. They did so much within this whole heist.
100%.
Like, they carried the heist.
Yeah, I love that. They're in so many little scenes that
they are the people who like fill in all the roles. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They get the award for I played all the B roles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. John?
It's the sixth man, I guess. Winner, Danny Ocean. And again, I don't look... I notice you guys look kind of like out bigger than I do, like beyond sort of on screen. But I definitely, he's the main character, puts it all together. He this is the start of one of several big franchises. And I would assume, actually, I've never seen any of the other Ocean's movies.
Really?
Yeah.
They're good. They're actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not as good, but they're good.
Mm-hmm.
They're fun heist movies.
Yep.
So, yeah, same answer. I think that was almost unanimous.
I know,
think
I was
Eric,
curious.
You played the role of giving someone else some love.
Spoiler. So, next category we've got, does this movie get made now? I had a hard time with this one because realistically, security has gotten way tighter over the last 2 decades, and technology's gotten more advanced, and it'd also be a remake of a remake. so we're getting kind of muddied water, you know.
I mean, they'll still do that. I won't put that past Hollywood.
I know. So I fear that it's probably so bad that they wouldn't. But I do think that there is still a demand for a Robin Hood tale. Anytime you throw in a dream team like this together, the money trail usually follows. So I would say probably, but I hesitate to say it would be good or enjoyable.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Right? What about you, John?
I think it'd be hard to pull off, much like the complicated heist of the movie, to find enough stars to make a performance like this. Like, it could definitely happen, but like you say, any attempt will probably not come close to the original.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel?
Robert Downey Jr. as Ocean, Danny Ocean. You do that, you get some stars around him. That is a money printing machine.
Dang, I like that. You even recast it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
awesome.
I did that right now because you were talking about it, and I was like, who could be the guy? And it's Robert Downey Jr. He's got all those things that Clooney has. You know, he's a silver fox now. He could definitely like play the con who gets out and just wants one big last heist, and
the quick wit too.
Yeah. And like I think you could cast, you know, a lot of different stars in that movie. And I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was already in one heist movie. Avengers Endgame, like most of that movie is a heist movie.
Yeah.
It's a time traveling heist movie, but it's a heist movie.
Right.
And then, you know, then obviously it becomes a Marvel action movie at the end. But like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. as Danny Ocean.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, me too. I'm really bummed out that it doesn't exist now.
I want it now.
I said yes as well.
Yeah.
They I kind of referred to, I think it's Ocean's 8 with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
so
the
like
girls.
they kind of remade it a little bit there. So I think I would say yes, it does get made now.
Interesting. So yeah, I think we all kind of agree on that, just whether it's good or not. I think maybe you have to have the right cast, like Daniel said.
And Daniel came up with the right cast.
Yeah,
or at least one of them.
For sure.
The main dude.
The main guy, Danny. All right.
Danny came up with the main Danny.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Favorite line from the movie? There's a bunch of good ones. I think we've gotten lucky with the movies that we've picked. We've gotten some good lines in some of these movies, and I think this is pretty high up there on the line list. John, what was your favorite line?
Oh, I gotta go back to my man Cheeds when he's being introduced.
Big Cheeds.
He's straight up lying about having booby traps. he's like, I don't do booby traps. That's below me. And they get him out of there. And one of his booby traps goes off, and he goes, "They weren't expecting that shit."
They weren't expecting that shit.
That is a good one. Eric?
My favorite line, let me see if I don't want to butcher this. It is when they're first introducing Linus. Or no, not Linus. The tech dude.
Yeah.
I don't remember his
Livingston.
name.
Livingston.
Yeah.
When they're first introducing Livingston, and he's like in the van with those two people, and they say, or he says, like, "Don't touch that," and they're like, "Hey, Radio Shack, calm down."
Yeah.
Hey, Radio Shack, relax.
That's a great line.
Radio
He just
Shack.
was like,
Daniel, what about you?
For me, it's Rusty and Linus. Rusty goes, "You scared?" This is after Linus has followed around Terry for a long time and knows his exact, location at all times.
Yeah.
And Rusty goes, "You scared?" And Linus goes, "You suicidal?" And Rusty goes, "Only in the morning."
You scared? You suicidal? Only in the morning.
And my favorite line in the movie is when Tess and Danny are at the dinner table and she's alone and he comes up to her and they're talking about when Danny's in jail and she says, "I told you I'd write." I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
My last day inside.
I told you I'd write.
Yeah, about the divorce papers.
Divorce papers.
Divorce papers.
Whoops, blanked out.
We
there.
should just we should
Daddy
find
Man
the
needs to
clip
go to bed.
and play it verbatim.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
should.
Odie.
Well, that's kind of what we do
You're
anyway.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing lately. All right, next category we've got most likely to be the off-screen drunk.
This might be another unanimous one.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think on and off, in my opinion, and again, I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's Danny Ocean / George Clooney. Again, he had a Guinness tap in his dressing room. I mean, like a keg. So, like, yeah, I thought that, and on screen or as Danny Ocean, I feel like he always had a drink or he was always talking about drink. There was always some hint of it, and so I think it's him with a bullet, in my opinion.
I said the same thing.
Yeah,
John?
Yeah, and just one particular, I guess, nod to it is when he calls his parole officer. "No, sir, I haven't been drinking." He's been
Exactly.
smashing, like, cocktails.
No, I wouldn't think of leaving the state.
And then the very next scene, he's in California.
Yeah.
Didn't catch
I
that.
actually did have a different answer.
Oh,
I said
nice.
Rusty, Brad Pitt's character.
Oh, yeah.
He
That's a hot take.
is absolutely hating his life when he's doing that poker stuff.
Oh,
And he's at the bar
yeah.
and he takes the shot.
Yeah,
And then
good
he
answer.
immediately gets another one.
How's the game going? Longest hour of my life. Right? I'm running away with your wife.
Yeah,
While
that's so good. Yeah.
While he's talking to that guy, like, "I hate my life." And the guy's like, "What?" He's like, "I'm
I'm
sleeping
running
with
away.
your wife."
Yeah.
Cool,
Oh my
man.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. Great answer, Daniel. I totally forgot about that scene, but that scene is hilarious.
Oh,
That
that was
whole
one of
interaction.
my favorite parts of the movie is when
Mine
you
too.
when they meet up and you're not sure if they're at least I wasn't sure if they're old rivals or what, but they immediately team up and con those people for all their money at the
Yeah.
poker game.
The first time you watch it. This
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Even 10 years later, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Like, you should see it coming from a mile away. But at the time, you're right. It's hard to say which way it's going to go.
Yeah,
I
you
also-
didn't know their relationship at the point.
Yeah, and I also liked all the actors that they had in there. Like Joshua Jackson was in there, and Topher Grace.
Yeah.
So instead of this being last, we're going to have this right before our podium rolls. We've got casting our friends. Does anybody want to go first on this one? Daniel.
Yeah, I'll go first. I didn't cast everybody, but I cast a few people.
Awesome.
I cast Matt as Danny Ocean because he's the one coming up with the plans that we're all following.
Yeah.
I've got Rusty as me, the old friend who's always eating.
That's good.
I've got good old Cheed's character,
Big cheese.
Cheese,
Big
baby.
Cheeds, as Cody, because like he's a big tech guy. Also,
yeah.
if any of us was competent with explosive devices, it would be Cody. And then
That's decent.
I've
That's
got,
decent.
Yeah, and then I've got Matt Damon Linus as Kevin because he's always nervous.
Good. That's good.
And that was all the ones that I casted.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll go
Nice.
next.
Okay.
So I also had Cody as Don Cheadle, our bomb builder.
Who?
Cody is Don Cheadle.
Cody is who?
Don Cheadle?
Big cheese, baby.
Oh, Big Cheese. Okay.
Cheese, baby.
Got him.
I actually had Daniel as the rich casino owner that wants to help them. Like at the beginning. When
Oh,
they grow
Ruben.
up. Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben.
And because at first he acts like he's not going to help, and he's like, "You guys are crazy," and he kind of like brushes you aside. But then he's like, "You know what? Fuck it, I'm going to help you guys out." Like,
And also, he has a personal rivalry with Terry.
yeah, I can
Like,
see that
he
too.
squeezed me out.
Yeah, exactly. I had
The heel turn. Daniel's heel turn.
Danny's heel turn.
so I had Dag and this one is cracking me up. I had Dag and Kevin as the Mormon twins or the Mormon brothers because they are our group's drivers, as they claim.
And they're also always bickering.
Yeah, oh, that's good. I had John as Yen, the acrobatic circus sleigh guy, because he fits he fits in tight spots, super flexible and daring. I feel like he'd be the one we'd throw in a trash can and say, "Hey, break into this." Or like,
Yeah.
We'll try
Then
not
here.
to blow you up.
yeah, and you have an hour or a half hour to breathe. That would
Hour
be
of
John.
air.
Half hour.
Yeah.
There. That's John.
That would appeal to John. He's a danger slut.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
the shot of him just by himself on the diving board building a house of cards could be too just like, I need to do my own thing.
Yeah. I had Eric as Livingston, our sweaty techie.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a good
I am a very sweady person.
And a techie.
And
Yeah.
Jack,
And I had Tommy as Bernie Mac because of his wittiness and quick comebacks.
Nice.
Um,
Good job.
Thanks. Eric, what about you?
Yeah, I'll go. So I had a couple of the same ones. Yen is John. And I just said because he's the only one of us that would try anything that Yen did.
Yeah,
In the movie.
right. Solid. Yeah.
I said,
Grease Man.
yeah, I said Terry, Grease Man. Yeah, sorry. I said Terry is Bogey because he can look mean, just like Terry.
Yeah,
Bogey's not mean, but he can look mean and he can intimidate.
he needs to.
Yeah.
Then I said that the twins are actually Kevin and Daniel because Kevin and Daniel are always bickering
That's fair, too.
and
Common
arguing.
denominator here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you guys got the casting of Cody wrong because he's Danny Ocean, the person who came up with the idea to fucking rob a casino.
Oh, that's fair.
That's just straight up
Yeah.
Cody. If any of us were going to do that,
Cody would put
it's
that
Cody.
together and be like, "No, just trust me; it'll all go off perfect."
Yeah, that's a good point. I like
Yeah.
that.
oh wait, no, I had one more. I'm sorry, I had one more. It is Matt. You are Livingston because you know computers and you're a robot.
I am a robot.
I need
I
to
was
update
just-
my drivers.
I feel like I would be the one watching, me or you, probably. More so than actually doing. But Cody
Yeah.
wouldn't be doing either. He'd
Well,
be
that's
doing
he'd
behind
get
the scene.
but he'd get caught, so he doesn't have to do as
Yeah.
much.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. All right, John, you're up.
First of all, there's a whole lot of roles to cast here.
Yeah, there
That
are.
was highly confusing. I think Cody could be Brad Pitt too because of how brazenly he can run in and get Cheeds off the hook. He's like, "Hey, I'm a federal agent,"
That's good.
and it's like, okay, it's like, I guess
that.
this guy's been around.
Yeah. And Cody would be the only one of us to have the balls to try it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
ATF.
definitely gonna go for it.
Go get Grady. Who? Just go get him.
I thought he could be sweaty techie too, but yeah, there's just too many roles to fill and too many elements of our respective personalities that could be slotted into each one, which I think is really sort of interesting about this movie, how it was chock full of people who were able to set themselves apart. Like, I don't know how many people that made themselves memorable in this.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you're yen, though. Like Eric said, you're the only one doing some of that shit.
What's he say when they blow the door? He's like, "The fuck you bet," or something.
Where the fuck you been?
Yeah, that's
the
only line in the movie,
okay.
right?
And they're just betting on him. They're like, tense as he shorts it.
I also like that he just talks in Chinese and everyone acts like they understand him at all.
I did notice that too.
There's no subtitles or anything.
Great question, Yen. Let me explain.
I like when movies do that. I mean, it's just a bit, and I think it's a funny bit, and they kind of just don't go through the hoops that make you understand. Like, they just kind of, it's a bit. So I thought that was pretty funny. Now we've finished with our podium roles, and then at the end we'll have our does this podium in that year. So we'll start with the podium roles. So this question is this a podium role or for any of the top billed cast members? So we'll start with George Clooney. What do you guys think of George Clooney? Eric, do you have anything you want to say on him?
My gut says no.
Okay.
That this is not a podium role for him, just because he's been in so many different movies with different levels of, drama. So my gut just says no.
John?
For me, it is, but I don't think I may not like the typical George Clooney movie, so it's on my George Clooney podium. But the popular George Clooney podium, I don't know.
Daniel?
I think a podium's both for me and for George, like his career as a whole. Just because this movie took George Clooney to another level. I mean, he was already George Clooney, but this was, George Clooney and Friends, basically.
ER.
He had ER. Then after ER, he was Batman.
Batman.
He did Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And Gravity.
I love that one.
But as far as just George Clooney being George Clooney roles, this is a George Clooney role.
So I agree.
It's his podium.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because I do think it's a tough one. He's been nominated for Best Actor twice. Oh, no, sorry, 3 times. In Michael Clayton, The Descendants, and Up in the Air. So he's been up for Best Actor. But all 3 of those, as I mentioned, or as you mentioned, were after this movie. So this movie kind of puts him into a place where he can choose or pick and choose what movies he wants. And so from this, he kind of changes from that Batman, Ocean's 11 to those more choosy, artsy films. And so he ends up being nominated for Best Actor in 3 movies, all good roles for him. So he's also been in, like you said, that Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I just think that this movie is the culmination of that dapper, suave, and just a badass Clooney that we're talking about. So I think I'd say, in terms of a podium, that it would be number 3 would be The Descendants, 2 would be Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and I think this is his most George Clooney movie. I think just that culmination of everything he's got, and he's in a movie, as I mentioned, with all these other top billed actors, and he does outshine. Like, we're focused on him, and sure, he's the main character, but he does a good job to where we're not staring at Brad Pitt the whole time, right? Which is easy to do in a lot of movies. So he does a great job of kind of taking that.
And I think he's a pretty sort of like, he's not a real flashy, outstanding character. All these other characters have panache, and he's just sort of the cool customer that centers it all.
Yeah, so I think this is his podium role for me, at least. And I think for the popular vote. So next we've got Brad Pitt. Daniel, will go back around the other way. Daniel?
No.
Yeah.
Like, he's just done other stuff, had bigger roles in other stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he's great in this movie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he's just, like, the great number 2 in this movie.
Yep. I mean, does anybody say yes on him, actually? I think I'll ask it that way.
I do not.
No.
Yeah, same. I mean, we kind of said it in 7. There's so many movies, and I don't want to reveal my list for his because I think we're going to definitely cover some of those. And some of my favorite roles of all time are with him. So I don't want to reveal those. But yeah, I would say no as well.
Yeah, I think Daniel put it really well when he's the number 2 in this. When in other movies, he's number 1.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Next, I'm going to say Matt Damon. Anybody say yes?
No.
Similar
He's
reason.
great, again.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, same. I would agree with that. Let's go to...
in this one, he's number 3.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I would agree with that. Next, we'll go with Julia Roberts. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say
I'll
no
jump
as
on
well.
this.
I would say no as well.
Yeah, John?
Same.
Yeah, so she obviously is the main girl in this, and she has great chemistry with Clooney, but she's also won an Academy Award for Best Actress in Erin Brockovich. She's also her own main lead actor or actress in a movie multiple times.
Yeah.
And classic films like My Best Friend's Wedding and Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
So I would say no.
Runaway Bride.
Runaway Bride's a great.
Yeah. I would say this isn't even her best Ocean's movie.
Yeah.
Really?
Because Ocean's 12, she's much more active in the movie. In this movie, she has like a handful of scenes peppered throughout, where in Ocean's 12, she's part of the crew, you know?
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, she's just kind of the carrot at the end of the stick on this one, right?
Yeah.
It's just part of the, star-studded, chock-full cast is just finding screen time to stand out. Right.
Right. And like she does a great job in this movie. It's just she doesn't have enough, there's not enough meat on the bone for her in this movie.
It's not a meaty role.
It's not a meaty role.
No, it's not.
No, I agree. And then honorable mention is Andy Garcia,
which I would say yes.
Yeah, I would say yes as well.
I would
Is he Terry?
Yeah,
he's Terry.
Yep.
Yeah. He
I would
did a
agree
pretty
with
good
that.
job.
So
And I don't remember him from much else.
yeah, and we kind of talked. He's more of a character actor. He's actually been up for Best Supporting Actor for the Oscars back in Godfather 3 as Vincent Mancini. So I would say that would be number 3. This would be number 2. And Ocean's 12 is actually number 1, as I liked how Daniel kind of said for Julia Roberts, she's number 1. Ocean's 12, it's kind of his podium role because he gets back at them, and I don't want to give too much away for who hasn't seen it, but you definitely got to see it, and you got to enjoy Andy Garcia in the second one.
Yeah.
He does a great job in it.
I like when he is on the phone basically he's fulfilled all the demands, and he's like, now I have a demand for you.
Yeah.
Run and hide.
Run and hide.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah, if you get caught buying a $10,000 Bugatti or whatever,
Yeah,
he says,
Yeah.
in Beverly Hills, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, he's awesome as a villain in this. So we wrap this up with, does this movie Podium in the year 2001? Long version.
Oh, long play. Ooh.
So let's see. Let's go with Eric. Does this Podium, and then again, as we've kind of taken on, if not, or even if it does, what is your Podium
What's
for
my
the year
Podium?
2001? Yep.
So I said that this movie did not podium in 2001. And my podium list is mostly filled with comedies, just because that's my favorite type of movie. Again, we've talked about it before. I like light things. And my podium would be number 3 is Zoolander,
Nice.
because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
And then to get a little bit dumber and ridiculous, number 2 is Rat Race.
Oh, that's a good
Okay.
one. Good one.
And then to get even more ridiculous, number 1 in 2001 for me is Super Troopers.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Daniel?
I said no as well, and this is not on my podium, but I just want to say it because it's a really funny movie that means a lot, I know, in this group of guys, and that's that Freddy Got Fingered came out this year.
I know.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
is
it
near
did.
and dear to our heart.
Yeah. So instead, in the number 3 position, especially because this movie launched me into the books, which launched me into a lifelong fandom, was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Nice.
Number 2 was A Beautiful Mind. And number 1 was Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, because
Nice.
that might be my favorite movie series of all time.
Wow. Awesome. Great.
Nerd alert.
Great list.
Yeah, that's a great list.
I'll kill you.
I'm sorry.
Damn, Daniel.
All right. John, you up?
Yeah.
Hello, John.
I'll say I have other comedies on my podium. It is weird how many different comedies we're going to have on our podium.
2001 was loaded. I was just scrolling through and I was
It
like,
was.
that movie came out in
Yeah.
especially for comedies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My number 3 for 2001 is Joe Dirt.
No.
Yeah.
Nice.
Joe Dirt
Yeah.
came out in 2001.
That's right.
Daniel, do your Joe Dirt impression.
I'm new. I don't know what to do. Or did you want, I got the poo on me?
That's the one I was looking for. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's a space peanut. My number 2 is very niche for me. It's The Royal Tenenbaums. And I guess
that came out this year?
it's a comedy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
a
kind of,
dramedy.
it's weird. It's just a quirky movie I like. But number
Yeah.
1, I am putting Ocean's 11.
Wow.
Oh, nice. Nice.
A movie I've rewatched over and over, even though I know that, it's all been spoiled, but I rarely rewatch movies. Also, I feel like it moves so quickly and it's packaged up tidy in a nice little feature film like I like. I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. For a movie that runs almost 2 hours, it really clicks through it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
a movie like Oppenheimer is a movie that feels 3 hours.
Oh, it
But
definitely
this movie,
Yeah.
this movie doesn't feel like 2 hours. It feels like you're in and out. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
when I was watching it, I was like, it's almost over? Like
Yeah.
the heist is
Yeah.
going on
It's
right
quick.
now.
And it's
Holy
got
crap.
enough humor in it to be a comedy itself, and it's got
Yeah.
so much more.
Mm-hmm. So Ocean's 11 podiums for John.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, so it does not podium for me. While I do like it, it's probably in the top 10. There are a lot of movies, like we've mentioned.
Showing you my ring fingers.
But I actually kind of have a few of everybody else's on here. Number 3, I actually said Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Nice.
I agree with Daniel. It's one of the best series, and it's just so epic. I remember watching that movie a million times as a kid. Like, that one we watched so many times. My number 2 actually is the only one that hasn't been said yet, is Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
Another
Another one.
Posse
Yeah.
classic comedy that's like a niche, but there's so many good actors before they were, taken off, like Paul Rudd, Bradley Cooper, Amy Poehler. I mean, just a crazy
Christopher
list.
Maloney of SVU.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coder.
He's awesome in that. Yeah. And then my favorite movie of the year is John's second favorite, The Royal Tenenbaums.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
I-
that's my favorite.
I have a couple more honorable mentions just because
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Go for it.
Memento came out in
man.
2001.
Christopher Nolan, Jim.
Yeah. Saving Silverman came out in 2001.
Yeah, I saw that one
Which
too. That's a good
that
one.
was a big one for us for a long time.
Yeah. Another
Yeah.
big one for us is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I know. That was
Oh,
a
like
good
that
one.
was this year? Yeah.
Yeah, that one came out this year or 2001.
Yeah.
And my
That's what-
struggle between 3 and 4 was actually Donnie Darko,
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
which when we were in high school we watched about 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I know nothing much of this movie, but a Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, and someone else movie came out called Heist. I
In
just thought-
2001?
When I was
2001?
doing my research for heist movies, I saw that and was like, I should probably check that out because like I like those actors.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of it, but isn't there a tower heist too with like
Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. That did not make the list. Wonder why.
That might sneak onto one of our podiums since we like all sorts of different comedies, apparently.
Yeah.
This is a good year for comedy, and Ocean's 11 kind of had. I'm glad somebody had it on there, John. That was good because it is funny too. It's funny. It's clever, entertaining.
Shrek came out
Lennox
this year.
Lewis.
Yeah, Shrek.
I like that.
I mentioned that in my franchise spiel.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
Right.
It just slipped my mind.
Yeah, Shrek
And one of the worst historical movies I've ever seen, I went and saw it with my dad, was Pearl Harbor. It came out this
that
year.
came out in 2001. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Isn't
are
that
starting
Kevin's
to
favorite
hit
movie?
We
Kevin
are
loves that
starting
movie.
to hit movies that we've seen in theaters like that because I saw Pearl Harbor in theaters too.
Yeah.
With Adam.
I did.
Yeah, I saw it with my dad because, like, we were alone that weekend or something. Like, the rest of the family was gone, which was super weird. So we went out to dinner, and my dad was like, yeah, I want to see that movie because it's like a historical epic, and it's not. It's like a shitty love story, and
Horrible movie.
yeah, it's bad.
And you and your dad were just trapped. You're like, oh god, what did we get into?
No one said Monsters Inc. or Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
The
Training
Animal
Day.
came out this year.
Animal?
Yeah, The
oh,
Animal,
God.
starring
Yeah,
that
Rob
buddy.
Schneider.
Yeah,
Hey.
Training Day was another one I saw. And yeah, Beautiful
Yeah,
Minds
Cody will be
up there
missed
for
that
me,
we didn't
Daniel.
podium that one.
Yeah, Training Day. All right, guys. That was a good one. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll
Cheers.
see you soon, Dad.
Cheers.
Cheers.
R.I.P. Dave.
See you on the other side, Dave.